Okay, this is a tutorial on learning how to record with Cool Edit Pro 2.0. Cool Edit Pro 2.0 is a multi-track recording studio that you can install on your home computer. And with a microphone, perhaps a set of headphones, and little more really, you can record multiple tracks, audio, instrumentals, vocal, and then mix them together into one audio track or audio file, MP3 format, WAV, whatever, and create your own pretty close to professional quality recordings that you can then burn onto CDs, DVDs, and the likes. Okay, lots of people have expressed interest in figuring out how to multi-track record. The program I'm using here is the one that I use all the time, Cool Edit Pro 2.0. And it's surprisingly simple to use. I have no experience in multi-track recording. What I've learned over the years, I picked up as I went, simply by trying different options. The basic interface device that Cool Edit Pro comes with is, well, it ranges from extremely simple and easy to understand to slightly a little more complex as you get into the actual recording process. But I think if I take the time to show you these things, you will see that they're not that complicated. You can operate this thing too. So let's look at the recording interface of Cool Edit Pro. There are two interfaces to Cool Edit Pro. One is the recording interface, which we're looking at right now, and the other is the editing interface, which, if you go to the upper left-hand corner of Cool Edit Pro, you'll see a sort of a wave, a green wave, sound wave icon here. And if you click on that, it'll take you over to the editing screen of Cool Edit Pro. This is where you edit your sound files that you create, your tracks. Okay, right now there are no tracks. If there was a track, it would be listed here. If there were multiple tracks, track 1, track 2, track 3, they'd all be listed here down this section on the left-hand side. But there are none at the moment. And if, as you can see up here in the upper left-hand corner where that sound wave was before, there is now an icon which represents kind of sort of multiple sound waves. That is the icon you click on to go back to the recording mode of Cool Edit Pro, which we'll do right now. Okay, we're back in the recording mode. Once again, you have this window over here, which currently is empty. That shows what tracks you have recorded. Okay, and they will be listed as track 1, track 2, track 3, one below the other. And if you have broken up track 1 or track 2 or track 3, say track 2, you recorded track 2, and you broke it into two sections, then there would be track 2A and track 2B, and possibly track 1. Okay? So this shows you your tracks and allows you to select any one of them by clicking on it. Over here, these are your tracks, okay? If you look here, it says track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4, okay? And these are the windows where the tracks show as waveforms. And as you can see, they're all empty right now because we haven't recorded a track, okay? So this is where, as you record, your waves, your recording file will show up as a waveform. Okay. Now, what's important here is a couple of things. There are 3 lights up here. 2 of them, I can tell you what they mean. The R means record, and if you click on that, you'll note it lights up a brighter red R. That means that that track is ready to record. Okay? We can also click on it again, and it's no longer ready to record. Okay? The M over here is mute. Now, if you have 3 tracks recorded and none of them are muted, when you play when you press the play button down here, all 3 tracks will play all at once, and you will hear them all as if they were one recording. Okay? However, if you mute, say, track 2 and track 3, only track 1 will play, and possibly track 4 if you have a 4th track. Okay? So the mute option, you can highlight it by clicking on it, and you see, this track is now muted. It's a brighter green. That mutes that track, and it does not play when you hit the play button. Okay? We're going to turn that off again. You can do this with any of the tracks, multiple tracks even. You can record 2 tracks simultaneously by selecting record on both of these. Now, I want to point out right now that we are not recording tracks 1 and 2. We're set up to record tracks 1 and 2 because I've selected the record option. But the actual record button is down here in this lower corner. And I'm going to kick over to there very shortly. But right now, I want to go over a few more things in this section here. This is the volume control of your recording interface. Okay? Currently, it's the volume control for track 1. Now, if you look at track 1, it's different from track 2 and track 3 and track 4, as this section here is a light gray. What that means is we're currently selected to view track 1. I could click on track 2, and the volume control would represent what's going on in track 2 now. Okay? Track 3, same thing. I'll set the volume control to, 9 on track 3. Now watch what happens when I click track 1. Volume control goes to 0. But if we kick back to track 3, volume control is still at 9. That means that the playback on track 3 will be louder by 9 units over track 1. Okay? Now, you can change the volume control on any track, increase it with a positive number, such as here we have plus 8.3, or a negative number, such as minus 4.8. And of course, the neutral position would be 0. Now, it's very hard to get that slider to go to 0. There's another way to change it, and that is to highlight this number right here and type in 0. And the slider moves up to 0 automatically. This is a digital representation of what this slide bar is doing. And you can change this. You can set it to 5, and the volume will move up to 5 on that slide bar. So you can change the volume with the slide bar, or simply change that number up there. I'm going to set it back to 0. Okay. This little slider here is a representation of your left and right speakers. When you're recording in stereo, which is pretty much all the time, you can slide to the left, and that will give you a positive number, or slide to the right will give you a negative number, and that moves the volume control, the recording volume, or the playback volume, to your left left speaker, or your right. Less on one and more on the other. depending which way you set this. It's like a stereo when you set your volume control between your left and right speakers so one plays louder than the other. Once again, this figure here represents what the slide bar is saying, negative or positive, and you can reset it to central by simply typing 0, and the slide bar automatically moves back there. Now, the rest of this information I don't tend to use very much, okay? So I tend to ignore it. I haven't really gotten into it. The only thing that's real important here is that, you see here, it says the title is track 1. And we're on track 1. If we go and select track 2, you'll note the title is track 2. When we start recording and a waveform shows up in this section, it will also show up as track 1 over here. Now, if you started recording on track 2, it would show up over here as track 2. There would be no track 1. You do not have to do this in any numerical order. You can start with recording track 2, or track 4, or track 3, or track 1. Any one of those at any time, and it'll call it what it is. Track 2, track 3, track 4, track 1. You keep track of them by keeping the name the same, and it will show up over on this side by that name. Currently, we're on track 2, and the volume is set at 0, and the balance is central, so it's 0 as well. And we're going to set track 2 to record. Okay. We are now ready to start recording on track 2. Okay. Now we'll kick down to here, to this section. And this is the really important section here. This involves your play button, your stop button, your pause button, your fast forward buttons, your go to the end of the track and go to the beginning of the track button, and of course, most important of all, your record button. Okay? All of this is very similar, if you look at it closely, to the controls you'd find on your VCR, which, by the way, is a recording device. So it kind of makes sense that it would kind of have the same controls as a VCR would have. And this is one of the reasons why Cool Edit Pro is so easy to use, because it's using many of the controls that you're already used to using. Okay? So, always remember when you get confused about what to do, that the keypad down here is very similar to your VCR. If you can operate a VCR, you can operate this. Okay? Right now, if you look, all of these options are pretty much grayed out. Okay? You can't play. Well, you can't play. But actually, you're playing nothing. Okay? Because we haven't recorded anything to play. The only thing you can really do right now is record. Okay? You can hit the record button and start recording. Now, if you do that, you'll see this line cut across tracks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's hit the play button and watch that line. Right there. See that line? See it moving across this track? It's also moving across this one, and this one. Okay? Let's stop that. If we stop it, it goes back to the beginning. Okay? Now, if we start recording, let's do that. If we start recording, it will start recording in the tracks that are set up to record. Now let's look at the tracks. Track 1. Nothing has been changed here. Okay? No buttons have been highlighted. Track 2. The record button has been highlighted. Track 3. Nothing has been changed here. Track 4. Nothing's been changed here either. Oh yeah, on track 3 we have the volume set at 0, but it's not recording anything. It's not ready to record anything. The only track that is ready to record is track 2, and it's highlighted to record. So when we press record, we will start recording at the beginning where this line, this little dotted line that we saw moving across, that's where it'll start in track 2. Let's try that now. I'm going to do a quick little speech here. Okay, now if you look at track 2, you will see wavy lines and things forming as I speak. These are sound waves. This is your voice coming up on track 2. This is the wave format of the sound you're recording. It could be a musical instrument. It could be a voice singing a song. It could be just someone speaking like I am. Oh, did you notice that? The whole section just erased itself and started over from 0. Well, actually, it didn't. This green bar moved over. And if you move that bar back, you'll find that it's still going on, extending that bar. Now, do you see this little white line here, way up here at the top? That is this white line and its progress report. And as you see, as I move this green bar, I move my way along the tracks. Okay? I move backward and forward to where I haven't recorded, to where I have recorded, and so forth. Now let me just stop that. See that little square button over here? That means stop. Let's stop it now. Okay, we've stopped recording. Okay. Now you see all of this? We have to use the slide bar to see it all, and we can't see it all at once. Okay? Actually, we can. Let's look back at this. This section here where we have the keypad. You'll see a magnifying glass with a plus on it, and a magnifying glass with a minus on it, and a magnifying glass with a sort of a page on it. Now, it says here, if you highlight that one with the page on it, it says zoom out to full access, both accesses. What they're talking about is zooming out your view of your wave format. Let's zoom out manually. That is, we'll click on the minus magnifying glass, which means we back up a bit. Now, see how that green line got bigger? Okay, let's back that up. We were about like that. And then I clicked on the minus magnifying glass twice. Once, see how much bigger this green line got? This is the area of our recording track that you can see. Okay? There's more to it, and to see the rest of it, we have to move this bar along this line. But this is the area we can see. Now let's click on it again. Minus. Okay. Now that green area covers the whole top section. That means we can see the entire track we've recorded. And it's track 2. And by the way, look over here. Track 2. Okay? That is the first track that showed up over here. Because it's the first track we recorded. Alright? That's track 2. Okay? Now, let's zoom back to about where we were before. Okay? Now we can no longer see the whole thing at once. The whole wave. Now let's click on this magnifying glass with a page on it. Okay. Wow, look at that. We zoomed up precisely to the maximum view of that waveform. We did that automatically in one click. And hey, by the way, did you notice this? This option is no longer available to us. What we've done is we've zoomed out to the full size of that wave file. Okay? And the reason it's no longer available is because there's no point zooming out to the full size of the wave file. We're already there. So we don't have to do that again. We can zoom out or zoom in further with the manual options, but we don't need to automatically zoom out to the full one because we've already done that. So they've taken that option away. But if we go minus here, or plus, Now we've zoomed in a long ways. Now this option is available to us again, and if we click on it, boom, we got the whole wave showing again. All right. So here we are. We have recorded a section of the wave. What can we do with it now? Well, we can press play. No, wait. Okay. Now, if you look at track 2, you will see wavy lines and things forming as I speak. Okay. These are... Let's stop that. All right. You've just heard the wave I was recording. That's what the play button there does. The same looking button you would hit on your VCR to play a video. You press to play a track. Okay? Now, let's do that again. Oh, yeah. I forgot. Okay. Now, if you look at track 2, you will see wavy lines and things forming as I speak. Okay. I just pressed the pause button. See this white line here? The one that shows up here as well, by the way. That line is our progress. That's where we're at. Okay? And so I paused it. Now if I hit the play button again. Okay. That didn't work. Now if you look at track 2, you will see this is your voice. Okay, let's pause it. Now, if I want to continue from there onward, I can press the pause button again. Coming up and on track 2. This is the wave format. Okay. So it's very much controls very similar to your VCR. There's nothing scary about this. Very simple. Now what we're doing right now is just recording one track. And in a way, that's exactly what you'd do with a tape recorder. You'd hit the record button and just record away and you get one track. Okay? The power of this program is that it can record multiple tracks and mix them together. So, you record one track with the music and perhaps the main part of a song. Then, and here's the tricky thing, you go back to the start. Okay? You go back to the start. You hit that start, go back there. Now here's the tricky part. If you want to record track 2, then you have to set it up to record by pressing on that record button up there. Now that doesn't start the recording. That just says we're going to record in track, if we want to record in track 1, we have to select that button in track 1. Now, if we start recording right now, we'll start recording up here with little wavy lines. But because we've still got this one in track 2 selected, we'll also start recording in track 2. And as we record in track 2, we'll erase everything we go over in track 2. Think of it like a cassette tape in a cassette recorder. You record a message on the tape. Then you rewind it back to the beginning and you record another message. What happens? Well, the recorder records your second message, but it also erases the first message. If you want to mix these two tracks together, you do not want to erase track 2. So if you want to record track 1 to go along with track 2, you have to unselect track 2's recording. Now let's go back up here. Now we're highlighting track 1. We have the recording option off on track 2 and on track 1. And we're back at the start of this whole deal. And now we can hit the record button and record track 2. Now, as you are wearing your headphones, you will hear the voice of me talking on track 1. And you can, well, if it was playing an instrumental, you can sing along with that instrumental in time with track 2. But it's just a speech thing. So we'll do track 1. I'll just hum a little tune in the background. Okay? Here we go. Okay, now if you look at track 2, you will see wavy lines and things forming as I speak. These are sound waves. This is your voice coming up on track 2. This is the wave format of the sound you're recording. It could be a musical instrument. It could be a voice singing a song. It could be just someone speaking like I am. Oh, did you notice that? I would stop right there. Let's take it back and let's play the play button. Okay, now if you look at track 2, you will see wavy lines and things forming as I speak. These are sound waves. This is your voice coming up on track 2. This is the wave format of the sound you're recording. It could be a musical instrument. It could be a voice singing a song. It could be just someone speaking like I am. Oh, did you notice that? Okay. So we've now recorded track 1 and track 2. And when we play them, we hear them both at the same time. Now let's put the mute button on track 2, but not on track 1. And let's play it back again and see what difference it makes. La 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 la. Okay. Do you notice that? No talking in the background. That's because we muted track 2 and I've just unmuted it. Now let's do something a little different. We will put track 3 into record mode and take track 1 out. And we'll try to hum along in harmony to track 3. And it'll go something like this. Okay, now if you look at track 2, you will see wavy lines and things forming as I speak. These are sound waves. This is your voice coming up on track 2. This is the wave format of the sound you're recording. It could be a musical instrument. It could be a voice singing a song. It could be just someone speaking like I am. Oh, did you notice that? Okay. Okay, now if you look at track 2, you will see wavy lines and things forming as I speak. These are sound waves. This is your voice coming up on track 2. This is the wave format of the sound you're recording. It could be a musical instrument. It could be a voice singing a song. It could be just someone speaking like I am. Oh, did you notice that? Now, track 3 has now got a file recorded in it. Note, we changed the volume level on track 3 to be minus 8.9. Let's set it to 0 and hear that again. And see if track 3 comes out louder than it was before. Okay, now if you look at track 2, you will see wavy lines and things forming as I speak. These are sound waves. This is your voice coming up on track 2. This is the wave format of the sound you're recording. It could be a musical instrument. It could be a voice singing a song. It could be just someone speaking like I am. Okay. That was pretty bad harmony. But it showed the point. You can harmonize with yourself with this program. It's a lot difficult when someone's yapping on in the background like I was there. But you can do it. More to the point, we could mute track 2 and hear it again. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Right. There you are. Now, basically, you have the essence right now of multi-track recording. You've just seen it, where you're recording along with the other person, which is you, in harmony. The timing wasn't too good, but that was my fault. Okay? Don't let this bother you. You can work on the timing, and in fact, you can re-record track 2 or track 1 or track 3 as many times as you want, erasing the old track until you get it right. This is the advantage of a multi-track recorder. You can do this, and it's easy. Okay, now I want to show you a few more things that are going on in the background while this is happening. And I'll show it to you by playing back those 2 tracks again. Here. La 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 la. Do you see that green bar at the bottom? See how it moves up and down along the length? That's your volume. If it gets to this last section, it'll turn yellow and then red. Red is too loud. Let's stop that. If it gets into the yellow, it's approaching too loud. If it gets into the red, it's too loud. That's why you have this volume control here. You can adjust down your volume. Okay? So that it will not get too loud and crack your speakers. Well, make a popping sound on your speakers. You can monitor that the whole time you're recording or playing back, and it will show you what's going on with your volume control, and you can adjust for that. Okay, so now we have 3 tracks, of which one of them is currently muted. Okay? And by the way, if you look over here, you will see track 3, track 1, track 2. Okay? These are the 3 tracks. Now, let's go to the editing option, and you will see we have tracks 2, 3, and 1 here. And if you click on track 1, you will get the track 1. Now, don't get confused by the fact that track 1 should be on top and track 2 in the middle and track 3 on the bottom. It doesn't really matter, because we know from looking at the editor that track 1 was on top and track 2 is in the middle and track 3 is on the bottom. It's not important where they are. We know which track is which. For instance, the talking track is track 2. And if you look at it, it's quite long and quite bumpy. That's your talking track, and if we play it. Okay, now if you look at track 2, you will... Okay, now, did you notice that when I hit the play button in the editing mode, the other true tracks didn't play? That's important, because this is the editing mode, and in the editing mode, you want to edit each track individually and get rid of any imperfections and add all kinds of filters in that could create echoes and so forth. Okay? Sharpen your voice, soften your voice, whatever. Okay? So, in the editing mode, you only deal with one track at a time. You can pick the track, over here. I picked track 2, but you could pick track 1. Now we're highlighting track 1, and this is track 1. La 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 la. Okay, let's pick track 3. See how track 3 moved up to the top and it's now highlighted. Let's play it. La 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 la. Okay. Right? Each of these 3 tracks can be edited separately. It has to be edited separately. Okay? I could go into detail in this video about editing tracks, but this video is about the basic recording process. I just want you to know that this editing screen section here that you go into, this is not your recording section. If you're recording, you probably don't want to be in this screen. You can record in this screen, but it's not the best. It's not good for multi-track recording because you can't hear the other tracks and you can't tell if you're in time with them or not. So basically, in this track, in this screen, the editing screen, you can clean up your tracks one by one. You can add effects to them, such as echoes, and sharpen them or soften them. You can do all kinds of things, but that's editing. When you're recording, you go back up to this upper left-hand corner and click on the recording screen, and boom, you're back here. And then you can record any tracks you want. Remembering that to record them, you have to highlight the record button inside each track. Okay? All right. Now let's say that you like what you've got. That you're happy with this. It's all meshed together the way you want it. When you play it back, you hear it the way you want it. And it's good and clean and nice. Okay? Well, we don't like the talking in the background, so we'll mute that out. And it's gone. Now we're ready to create our audio file that we can play back or burn to a CD. To do that, we go up to the upper left-hand corner in the menu up there and select File and left-click it. You get a sub-menu and go all the way down to Save Mixdown As. Okay? This is how you save all the tracks together, mix them together, so that they form one recorded track, which you can play back easily. You select Save Mixdown As. Now, you choose the directory you want to save the file in. And let's just save it in a temporary directory. Right. On the G drive, I've selected temp. Okay. Now down here we have the file name. Right now it says untitled.mp3. By the way, if you look at save as type, it's set up as MP3 Pro. That's an MP3 file. That's the most common file that you'll hear audio files in. And by the way, when you're multi-tracking, you're creating audio files. You're not creating video files. You're creating audio files. They can come in various formats, including WAV and MP3 and VOC and goodness knows what else. Okay. But the most common file that we use these days is MP3. Now, as far as the name goes, Untitled is pretty, you're not going to know what it is if you call it Untitled. You could have a dozen different Untitled file names, MP3 files. Let's call it LaLaLa. Okay, it's a silly name, but let's face it, that's what we're doing, right? Now keep in mind that as we save this mixdown file, it'll mix together track 1 and track 3. But it won't mix in track 2 because we muted that one. So it's going to ignore track 2. Now let's say save. This will save LaLaLa.mp3 in the temporary directory on drive G. Let's save it now. It's mixing the files together, and it's done saving it. Now, if we go to our Windows Explorer, and we go to La 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 la. Okay. That was my media player playing the file LaLaLa. Okay? I just created a multi-track file that contained 2 tracks of music mixed together in harmony. They weren't very well timed together because I didn't do a very good job timing them together when I recorded them. I could have done better, certainly. No fault of the recording program. It was my fault. But as you can see, now you have an audio file that you can play back on your computer. You can email it, attach it to an email, and send it to a friend. You can add it to a video in a video creations program and put it on YouTube, or you can burn it to a CD. You have just witnessed how to use a multi-track recording program to create a multi-track audio file. And it was that easy. Oh, I imagine you'll want to review this video a couple of times because there's sure to be something you didn't understand or something you've forgotten. That's okay. It took me years to learn this. Okay, I know a little more than this, but this much took me a while. And I expect it'll take you a while too. But it won't take you years because you have this video to follow and I didn't have that. So, presume you can do this. I know you can. Now, why don't you come see me and inquire about Cool Edit Pro 2 if you're interested in doing multi-track recording. I would say something now about the equipment you need. I said early on at the beginning of this video that you would need a set of headphones and a microphone and a reasonably powerful computer and, of course, the program Cool Edit Pro 2. I would like to put a caveat in there about the microphone. I've been using a microphone called the Yeti Blue mic. It is basically a USB microphone for a computer, but it's a very high-grade mic. It is basically a stage mic, which means you don't have to be standing right up against it. It records everything going on around you. It's a good mic. A good mic is a good thing to have. It doesn't have to be a Yeti mic, but a good stage-like mic is really almost essential for multi-track recording. They can run anywhere from under $100 to over $200. Okay? If you can afford it, it's well worth it. Trust me. But you can get by with a really crappy mic. You just get somewhat crappy audio. There's only so much you can clean up from crappy audio. Okay? But you can clean it up with Cool Edit Pro somewhat. So I think that's the end of this recording. We'll kick back to the screen of Cool Edit Pro. And remember, once you've created your recordings, be sure you remember to save them. Because if you shut down Cool Edit Pro, most everything you've done will be lost unless you saved it first. And that is all for this video. So, until next time, when we'll discuss editing your tracks and doing a better job recording them, this is Elgar Heath saying, have fun, play lots of great music, and try your hand at multi-track recording. Have a good evening.